Good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this August 29th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. We're glad to be with you today. Don't forget, our channel's on Roku and also on the website. Looks very much like what it looks like on the Roku channel.
And on YouTube.
And on
YouTube.
On
Facebook, if you're
all of the other places. Yeah, it's kind of what I refer to as like the EOA network, because it's just all they got to do is type in EOA or EO Live, and it's going to come up.
And
somewhere.
You can download the app too. If you have Android, Apple, just type it into the Play Store, EO Live, and the app will come up.
And later on today, this show will be a podcast on the podcast platforms. Yep.
iTunes.
Yep. So
a lot of different platforms.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
We're back.
Yeah, we've been a little out of sync.
Yeah.
Just I am so glad to be in my own bed and be home.
Well, I went a whole day without sleeping this weekend.
Yeah.
It threw me off. I'm too old. I mean, Bennett probably recovered twice as fast as me.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
So I am on the board of Creating Memories for Disabled Children, which is a camp up at Wallowa Lake. And the purpose, they do exactly what the name is. Really cool camp. Anyhow, they have a golf tournament that was in Bend this last weekend, and I had a family obligation, and so I normally go to that. And so, but instead, Benny and Kyle went, and it was a long day. You guys, you left here at 2 a.m.
No.
And
left here at 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, and then got home at 11 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oof, that's a
yeah. So drove to Bend, did the tournament, got back in the car, and Jack Burgoyne was also with you guys. He was the driver in his vehicle and stuff. He's on the board. Big shout out to Jack and his support for creating.
Yeah, if we were on like a sports trip, the driver would have had to sleep for at least 6 hours by law.
Right. Yeah. But you're a bunch of amateurs. Yeah. So, no. Yeah. So, well, yeah. And I appreciate you guys going.
Oh, it was a load of fun. It was fun. I met, it's crazy. I think Benny and I were talking about it on the way back. I met a lady who's friends with Khaki, who went to high school with Khaki, who's the volleyball coach at EOU. And then I met 3 people that grew up in LeGrand.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
That I didn't know.
Oh, I see.
I was talking to everybody. Can you imagine?
Okay, I can't imagine you talking to everybody.
I was talking to all of them. Where are you from? Why you got a Boise State shirt on? Why? You just ask questions, and then the way I figured out that the lady knew Khaki was we were talking about the old IMC because she went to Crook County High School. She's a Prineville girl. And I was like, we played against you guys. She was a little bit younger than me, but I was like, and she's like, I know. And EOU volleyball's coaches, I played with her. We're about the same age. And I was like, no way. So yeah, there's connections everywhere. It's crazy.
Just kind of clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's always that. I mean, that's a really cool event. Raises money but I think a lot of the people just come to the golf course because they put a team together. That's a super nice course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's very few of the teams that are trying to shoot in the 50s or even care.
Yeah.
They're trying to get to the 4 holes that have the covered area with jello shots.
Yeah.
And it was one of those kind of tournaments where, you could buy booze out on the course, but there was also some sponsors there that had their own little things set up where it was free, and everybody knew where those were.
No,
it was entertaining.
Yeah, it was. It was a good event. At least the one I was at last year. So, big shout out to the board of Creating Memories for Disabled Children, and that is a super cool organization. Just briefly, the Boy Scout camp that has been up at Wallowa Lake. Back in the late 90s, they had a flash flood and it wiped out their mess hall. And because of that camp closed. Well, and it remained closed for several years. Well, Creating Memories for Disabled Children, that board eventually did a 50-year lease on that camp. The Boy Scouts still use that camp, but the Creating Memories organization has gone through. There were 3 half-done cabins. One was completed, and 2 others just had foundation and walls and in a lot of disrepair because it had been set empty for 10 years. And so anyhow, the Creating Memories has gone in and finished those 3 cabins. I took video of them this last week. Super cool, because we're putting together a thing for that. And all of them are, they're A-frame cabins, but they are totally accessible for people in wheelchairs and so on and so forth, which is the whole point of the camp. And so anyhow, so a family of a disabled person can go there and spend the weekend. They have a boat down at Wallowa Lake, and so that they can wheel the wheelchairs onto the boat and go fishing. And I mean, it's just
cool.
So families can go there and create memories that they will remember forever. So super cool organization, super proud to be a part of that, and worth our efforts as far as EOA sponsoring that event. So, Yep. All righty.
All right, let's get some sports going. AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit. They have these really cool new Legos. They're called Lego Dreams, and it's basically kind of a choose your own adventure Legos. Get over there and check them out, man. I mean, Joe's doing a great job. Hobby Habit. These new Legos are killer. That it basically has a book that'll walk your kid through building different. I want to say it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, because you can build different things off of the same set.
Because the Legos in the past have been, you buy a Lego for a ship or for a car or whatever it might.
Right.
And this you're able to make different things with. That's cool.
Yeah. So go check out Hobby Habit. Sports wise, the golf tournament we went to was fun. That we talked about that already. EOU football this Saturday versus Montana Western, the home opener, and this is a huge game for EOU. They won the last game of the season last year. It was one of 2 wins. They had a rough season, and to get on the right track, they got to win this home opener. And I have a lot of faith in this new offensive coordinator and the new quarterback and just the new things going on with EOU football. EOU women's soccer, I hate trying to say her name, but I'm going to try it anyway. Kana Matiaki, I think I got it. She scored 4 goals this last week, and she was the CCC Attacker of the Week in the CCC. That's huge for them. They're 1-0-1, and the new coach, Josh Goodman, is looking to get this EOU women's soccer program back on track after kind of an off year last year where they didn't make the national tournament. EOU volleyball got back from Hawaii. I think they're back. They went 3-0 in Hawaii. Freshman Miley Mills, she's a freshman. She got CCC Defender of the Week this week, which is awesome. I mean, as a freshman, I think she had 19 blocks in 3 games in Hawaii. Wow. Sade Williams, who in my eyes is going to be an All-American this year for EOU, was named MVP of the tournament in Hawaii. And then Hannah Ledgerwood, who shares time at setter with Alexis McMurtry, was named to the all-tournament team. So great run right there. Undoubtedly, I mean, barring unforeseen circumstances, when the vote comes out in a couple of days, EOU's number 1. Jamestown lost 3 times in the first 2 weeks, and Corbin's lost twice. So Jamestown was 1, Corbin was 2, we're 3. EOU hasn't lost at all. We got to move to number 1 in my eyes. I can't see us not being number 1. LHS volleyball starts their home game tonight at 6:30 against the Dolls. That's when varsity starts. So JV would be 2 hours earlier, and JV2 would be 2 hours before that, or an hour and a half. But 6:30 tonight, LHS gym. And then the football, LeGrand High School football opens their season this Friday at home, 7 p.m. against Weiser Community Stadium, and it'll also be streamed right here on EOA Live with me. So if you can't make it to the game, join up and chat along and have a good time on Friday night under the lights at Community Stadium. And that's all I got for sports. Your AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look outside. Looks like a pretty day. Looks like it's going to be warm again, though. Here, let's see what the weather is. No, not bad.
73. That's nice.
Yeah, mid-afternoon yesterday it got kind of warm, but
it's going to be 74 or below all the way through Thursday.
Yeah. Marginal risk of severe weather today is what that said.
So that means rain, right?
Yeah.
Thunderstorms.
Possibly. Yeah. So who knows? But
we've been having some weird weather, man.
Yeah.
Weird.
But how pretty it is. I tell you, I was
I walked today because it was so nice.
You what?
I walked.
Yeah. No, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. If it's nice, if I look outside and it's nice, I'm walking. I mean, that's just what I need to do, that just for myself.
So part of where I've been earlier this month was on an Alaska cruise, first cruise I've ever been on. Went with a bunch of friends. Normally don't spend our money. We don't have money to spend like that. But the one thing that was really interesting was that if you're born, and we took the cruise up, I guess they call it the Inland Passage. The highest we got was the Hubbard Glacier, so not very far north. And so, but if you're born if you're I wasn't born, I guess I was born in Wyoming, which isn't really in Northwest, but if you're from Northwest United States, you're used to really pretty coast. I mean, the parts of where we went just looked like the Oregon coast on steroids, and I mean, the Oregon coast, Washington coast are just so beautiful. And so you're a little spoiled because, all of that part of Alaska and Canada kind of just looks like what we already experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are people on the cruise and they're from Ohio,
I've never
East
seen
Coast.
Like that.
Yeah. And I mean, they're just amazed. So it was super cool and I really enjoyed it. But on the same hand, it's like, this is kind of what it's the beauty that we
probably
live
a
with.
lot like the feeling like the very first time I took my kids to the Oregon coast, right? I mean, they were born an hour away, right?
Yeah.
The very first time we went to like Devil's Punch Bowl or Thor's Well or Cape Perpetua, they were just like,
wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they'd seen like Goonies and you know what I mean? Or, I mean, the very first time they actually understood, they were all really little the first time they went to the coast, but the very first time they actually understood what was going on, that's probably like those people from Ohio.
Yeah.
They were just like, wow.
Yeah.
John Tolan says the LHS wrestling team will receive their state championship rings during halftime of Friday's game. Cool.
Good to know.
Very cool.
Yeah.
They usually do that the first or second
first game.
First. Yeah, last year was the first game.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a normal thing for the wrestling team in the last few years to be getting state championship rings.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyhow, love the coast. And it was really, really fun. But I mean, and I had experienced the same thing. I mean, when I was in college, was sang with a choir in New Zealand. And everybody's talking about like the coast of New Zealand, how beautiful it is. And we finally get to the coast of New Zealand. And it's like, this looks like the Oregon coast, just not that. I mean, beautiful, but
the water's a little warmer, I think.
In there?
I would imagine.
I don't know.
It has to be.
They're probably.
I think we probably have the coldest like coast. You know what I mean? Like all the way up.
I think they're as far north as we are south. I think.
New Zealand.
Yeah. But I don't know.
The water has to be warmer in New Zealand.
I don't remember it being warmer. But
did you get in it?
No.
Well, you didn't get in it. But
now I tell you, now when you get to Australia and Brisbane, and that's northern Australia, then they call that the Gold Coast for a reason because people, but Australia is huge, And New Zealand is actually, it's more southern
New Zealand, it gets from 56 to 70
in the water.
Mm-hmm.
What does our water
It never gets to 70. No way.
to?
Let's look. Oregon coast temperature by month. I'm looking right now. Let's see. Oh, I guess I better put water temperature in there.
Oh, yeah.
Water temperature. Yeah, even in the summertime, it's 55.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Like it don't get no warmer than that. No, that water's cold, man. I remember Kyron, my son, he was like 2. This kid has never had a fear of water. It's almost irrational. Like, it's kind of scary. I've had to save him twice. This is one of the times we were at Newport. You know how down there at the bay, the water basically drops straight off.
Yeah.
Like, there's no beach, really. It's just boom, boom.
Yeah.
Well, we're standing there, and all of a sudden I hear this noise, and if he didn't just jump right in, and he's bloop, and I had my phone, everything. I had to jump in out there, and that water was so cold. Oh, and that was the bay. So, I mean, you go out into the, no, that water's cold. Never been, I mean, I love going out on a boat, but not swimming. No. I mean, have just because the kids like to go out there, but never spent a lot of time in it.
Yeah.
It's not like California where it's like 70, 72 degrees. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you go out in that water.
I tell you, Tanya and I had an interesting experience. We, in Sitka, we signed up for this adventure it was called a raft coast. You know, I mean, anyhow, they took us in a powered raft, but the raft was actually like one of those rubber rafts like that seals right in and go up on the beach, you know. So big motor on the back. And so, but it only held 6 people. So there just wasn't, and the seats were not seats. They were kind of a saddle. You kind of threw your leg over and you had something to hang on to. But the interesting thing is they geared us up with full survival suits. They weren't waterproof, but they were water resistant. But if you fell in, the life preserver and everything was built right into it and stuff. And so, I mean, I have these funny pictures and stuff. I mean, we were totally the only thing that was really visible or uncovered was your eyes. And on that particular day, it was just raining like crazy.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And so we couldn't see much, but we could drive by the coast, and the tide was out. And so then all of the critters that were below the tide were stuck to the rocks, and we drove. It was really fun. But the adventure was driving 40 miles an hour, 45 or whatever it was over the water, the rain beating into your face. And even though these full suits were water resistant.
I'm surprised you went on that.
Yeah.
Because both of us have had rafting experiences that were really scary.
Well, and you know, I didn't really think about it until I was texting Michaela. You know, it was like, she said, like, you're getting on a raft?
Yeah. That's exactly how I would have felt too. Like, I'm not, I don't know that I ever will raft again.
Yeah. But this was more like this was a boat. It's just a rubber. I mean, this was a long ways away from a raft that you would ride down a whitewater rapid thing. So, but anyhow, but that was a lot of fun. It's funny because Tanya and I have never done that kind of stuff together, you know. So when we're looking for stuff to do, we both like, well, that looks fun. Well, I think that'd be fun too, you know. So anyhow,
fun.
Yeah.
I've been in my social media a lot lately. There's been stuff about Mount Everest, you know, and all the people climbing, and because there's a lot of, you know, people that are against people summiting. They think it's for glory, and they leave a lot of trash and stuff up there. So I started watching this documentary. Man, those guys. There's the guy that this documentary about. He had summited 6 times, he'd made it to the final base camp 6 times, and every time he never made it to the summit for some reason or another.
Wow.
And you know, only out of 7 climbers that make the summit, only 6 come back.
Yeah.
So
And
1 out of 7 die.
Well, and
why would you do that?
I know.
I don't understand. Like your chances are not that 1 out of 7. Like
why,
no.
why take that risk?
Yeah, just to take that picture, the photo op. Like no. I mean, I guess some people it's deeper than that, but come on.
Well, and what is interesting about that is it has become so commercialized that, I mean, you wait in line. I mean,
there's just lines of people.
Yeah, it's just a train. Yeah,
garbage and feces and
yeah.
I mean, that's what's been showing up in my social media. That's why I've been checking it out, and it's just crazy the amount. And then you have these Sherpas, the guys that are the guides,
right?
That have been to the summit hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
Right.
You know what I mean? And or there's and they rotate through them so fast because it's so hard on their bodies,
right.
And so many of them die.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The Sherpas or
even the Sherpas die.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not as often as the regular old Joe that's trying to climb up Mount Everest, but they do. They do.
No, the Sherpas are the ones who really deserve the glory.
Yeah. They're making a living. That's their job.
But I heard the other day that for the first time ever, a Sherpa hauled a guy down the mountain. I mean, literally put him on his back and hauled him down the mountain and saved him.
Wow.
I mean,
because usually, I mean, they just leave the dead bodies. Somebody was telling me about. There's like a place called like Green Boots or Brown Boots or something like that, and you can just see the guy's boots sticking up out of the snow.
Yeah,
and it's like a landmark.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
That is. Yeah.
Like you're already on oxygen, right? Most people,
right?
On the last leg,
right?
You're struggling. You've been, hiking this mountain for however many days, and then you have to hike past dead people too, and you know that only 1 out of 7 people are going to die.
Well,
like no.
Well, and and there's a certain percentage, and you hear those stories all the time. The people they get to the point where they're going to summit later than what they should.
Yeah, I mean, they run low on everything.
Right, but they go ahead and summit anyhow, and then die on the way
because they didn't have enough oxygen to make it back to where it was safe to breathe.
Yeah. No,
or they'll get to that last base camp and the weather will come in,
right?
And they'll have to sit there for 2 days in these tents with just weather. Like the one guy said that there was like rocks and pieces of ice and snow just pummeling their tent all night.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not signing up for that. No, I don't need that picture.
No. Yeah.
And some of the climbing they do, there's like strings of people on ropes, right?
No, yeah.
40, 50 people. Like a really steep grade, and they're just putting their ice pick, and I'm like, what if the guy at top falls? Right. I mean, they're strapped in, but still, like, what? That would be catastrophic. Everybody goes.
Have you seen that? There is another documentary about a guy who did the 14 highest peaks in the world in a 9-month period of time. That's super interesting. You have to find. I don't remember. Can't remember what it is, but he was like a no one. Nobody knew him, and he did all of these peaks with oxygen. I mean, that was the thing. He wasn't trying to train his body, because there are some people they'll go to a certain level and then they'll stay there for 3 weeks till their body will acclimate, and then they'll So that wasn't his deal. So he was doing but he was like a nobody. And so then through the climbing community, it's like, hey, have you heard of that dude who's done 6 or 7 peaks in the last 3 months? Like, well, who is that? And I mean, and pretty soon, and the last one that he could do was in China, and it didn't look like his goal was to be able to do it in all of these peaks in a year. And it looked like the last one he wasn't going to be able to do, just simply because they wouldn't give him access. And finally, it just worked out. Super cool documentary.
Well, my question would be, and for people watching too, chime in if you want. Like, is it for the glory? Is that why they do it? I mean, like, is it so they can post that picture on Facebook and Instagram and say, I would imagine it's an ego thing for most people. It has to be.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose. I mean, I mean, if a lot of these people, the ones I don't understand are the ones that have a family and take that risk and do that.
Right.
You know?
It's got to be an ego thing.
Right.
What else could it be?
Well, but I mean, if that was your, I don't know, if that was your goal your whole life, and the person that you married knew that it's like, yeah, that was what they do. That's what they live for. Yeah, I don't know. But
it's kind of like the guys that scale the buildings without ropes. You seen those guys? There's guys that'll scale like these glass, like 250-story buildings with just their hands and their feet and some talcum powder.
Yeah, why?
What are you trying to prove there?
I know. Or I'm not. Yeah, I don't understand that kind of risk.
I'll never understand it. I don't even like getting on an airplane, let alone climbing nothing. I'm not even climbing a ladder in the studio.
I know. It's like, yeah, I mean, those cruise ships are totally amazing, but there are times you look over, and I thought of you as like, Kyle would not be anywhere.
No, I love the ocean though, but I wouldn't look over the edge. But I wouldn't have any problem. I've been on a tuna boat 30 miles out for 2 days, and I loved every minute.
Did you get seasick at all?
No, never have.
See, that was, I mean, I did fine, but Tanya got.
Did she have the patch?
Well, she did everything. Yeah.
Dramamine. Yeah.
Yeah, and she got pretty sick. And there were several people in our group that did too for a bit.
My favorite thing about going out on a charter boat or out fishing with friends in the ocean is the people that get sick, because you get to catch their fish.
Oh, do you? Well, yeah. It's like if they got a line and they get sick.
And they have a limit, and the boat wants to fill everybody's limit, even if they're sick. So you get to catch extra fish if there's people that are sick. So like, come on, I know we're gonna have some chummers. Just start chumming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about going out on charter boats is there's always 3 or 4 people.
I've never been out on a charter boat like that. We did. I tell you what was interesting is on this trip we had one of the other adventures other than this raft is we went out on an evening dinner and whale watching thing. This was in Juneau, and super cool. I mean, really, but it was a big. I mean, you kind of think of a double-decker bus on the water. So it was what do they call the
like
split?
The Willamette Queen, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know.
You ever seen the Willamette Queen in Salem? You know where the Willamette is in Salem, there, where you go over the bridge to go from West Salem to well, the Willamette Queen sits right there at that park. It's like a double-decker bus, and people get on it and they go on out on the river and have dinner. That's what it is. Basically.
This wasn't a very fancy one, but anyhow, so it was like it probably held 50 people, and there were a lot of whale. I mean, when we got out to this place, clearly, I mean, we could probably count 6 boats that were just there in this part of the sound, and they're just waiting for the whales. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, I'd never seen a whale ever in real life.
Oh, I have.
Yeah. And so that was super cool. But what was funny is so we get this is, I mean, it was kind of billed as a dinner and go watch. So we are kind of accepting something elegant and pretty, and you're setting at tables and, I mean, kind of what you would think of and the way that's, but this was like a double-decker bus on the water. Okay. Yeah. And what they did is they blocked off a few of the seats in the front, and they had seafood in a circle. And so then that was kind of that was the line, I mean, so you'd make your way around that, but still you're
rocking and rolling while you're doing it.
You're navigating. You're navigating clam chowder and trying to not make clam chowder, at the same. So super fun, but not exactly.
You can sit on the Oregon coast, not even go on a boat and see whales. Yeah. Quite often. If you take binoculars or a good camera out there, all you do is you just sit there and wait until you see the.
So I'll tell you something else. This was funny and disappointing. Okay, and so one of the particular nights on the cruise, everything is free except for there's I mean, you paid for everything ahead of time, but there's like little upcharges. And so this one night I bought this seafood dinner. It was a whole bunch of seafood cooked in a pot, crab legs and all of that, which was one of my favorite things. I mean, a whole bunch of seafood in a stew or a pot cooked is like, I really love that. Okay. And so, but the first thing was Irish clam chowder. That was on the list. It was Irish clam chowder. They brought me the clam chowder and it was like gravy, thin gravy. No, it's like clearly these folks had never really had Irish clam chowder and I kept saying like, well, can't you reach down into the bottom of the thing and find some clams? Or like, well, no, it just comes in a mix. We just mix it up. And so the rest of the food was super good, but I have never been so disappointed in
clam
chowder in my life. It was like, I don't know what the deal was. Anyhow.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So
good.
Well, anything else exciting going on?
No, I don't think so. Like I said, this Friday we're going to be live. We'll probably go live about 6:30, right? Home game against Weezer. We lost to them on the road last year. Last year's game against Weezer it was crazy. We go over there. We don't move the ball all game. It was hot. I went to that game in Weezer last year, and I think I want to say 2 minutes left. We haven't scored all game. They scored once. They're up a touchdown on us. We score. We go for 2. We get it. We go up by a point with like 30 seconds left. And what do? We kick the ball deep, and the kid runs it all the way back, and we end up losing the game by, a kick return for a touchdown.
Jeez.
So, I mean, hopefully this year at home it's a little bit different. Start the season out on the right foot, and we'll get a look at a new quarterback this year, new head coach. There's a lot of changes.
Do they do an extra point, or do they just end the game after the touchdown?
No, I don't think that they.
You know what I mean?
No, I don't know. They don't go for the extra point. If the game's over, the game's over.
That's why I think, Who is it? Yeah.
Bud's going to Georgia, he says. He'll be listening from Georgia for a couple months. Time to spoil the grandkids. Bud, have fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't mean you're going to root for Georgia.
We are also going to be streaming the Pendleton home games. So we'll have 2 games simultaneously.
Oh, is that this Friday too?
That's this Friday also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
So we'll have 2. So you'll be able to watch. So check this out. LeGrand fans, you'll be able to watch the Pendleton home games on our network, so you'll know what's going on with Pendleton too.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And LeGrand does pay Pendleton this year here, right?
Yeah, it's a home game this year, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be...
Last year we beat them twice. We beat them over there in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, we beat them over there during the regular season and over here during the playoffs.
Yeah. So. Which is a big deal because traditionally Pendleton has been...
Well, they just dropped down from 5A to 4A last year. And I mean, they lost a lot of players too. So they're in the same boat as us. I mean, I think they had like something like 13 or 14 seniors and some really good ones. The offensive player of the year in the GOL, Peyton Lambert, he's gone.
Yeah.
Their quarterback's gone. You know what I mean? Their best wide receiver.
Right. I remember him last year.
Yeah, Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson Davis. His dad's the head coach. He's the one that got hurt here. And then he's the one that everybody made all those comments about, and he went in and liked every single one of the comments. Right. So I called his dad and was like,
"Yeah, that's right. I remember.
You got a good kid right there." And his son plays. His brother, Eric's other son, plays wide receiver for EOU.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And then the other thing, you and I are going to try and go to
We're going to go to Boise State, Wyoming.
Yeah.
I talked to their athletic, he's not their SID, he's a step above it, but I don't know what his title is, but he said, your email serves as a request for the press passes and we'll get you in.
Awesome. I haven't been to
we just have to decide if we want to be on the field or in a press box.
I haven't been to a football game. I haven't been to a higher level football ever.
And you've never been like on the field or in the press box?
No.
I mean, we could probably get in the press box and sit with Johnny if we wanted to. I mean, it depends, whatever.
Yeah.
We can go on the field. I want to be on the field. I want to take pictures. And I think it would be a lot cooler. I don't know if they'll let us on the Wyoming side, but I know a few of the Boise State guys, so we should.
Well, and the significance of that is Peasley hopefully will be, Andrew Peasley will be
the quarterback.
Yeah.
He stays healthy, he'll definitely be the quarterback. I mean, just got to keep him healthy. So that'll be fun too, because I've never got to see him play. Even in high school, I didn't get to see him play. I wasn't back yet.
Yeah, he was fun to watch in high school.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and in fact, whenever we go to Pendleton, Tanya and I'll be in Pendleton this weekend. When we played Pendleton all those years ago, when I think he was a senior that year, he hurdled. He did that. He hurdled. Had a guy come in and tackle him, and he just like jumped right over.
He was a heck of an athlete.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun though. That Boise State Wyoming game. It's going to be real fun.
Well, and then growing up in Wyoming, I mean, I got lots of ties. There's lots of reasons I'm excited about that game.
I'm going to be kind of torn. I've never been a Boise State fan, but I met one of their players this last at the beginning of the summer at a golf tournament here, actually, and he was the kid was awesome, and so I'm rooting for him, but I'm also rooting for Peasley, obviously.
Yeah,
that's going to be a ton to decide. You know what I mean? Like if
well, and Boise State, man, I mean, you just said that's quite an organization. Just being in that stadium.
They just put a $4.3 million new Jumbotron scoreboard in.
Yeah, you said the Jumbotron cost more than
it costs more than it doesn't cost more than the whole facility, but it costs more than the upgrades to the facilities that they did this year.
Wow.
Yeah, 4.3 million.
Yeah.
For just a screen and to put it in. That's crazy. And it's not. I looked at the size of it. It's not that much smaller than the one in Dallas.
Yeah,
which is the biggest one in the United States.
Yeah,
it's not that much smaller. It's like 50 feet.
Yeah,
and I mean, it is that much smaller, but it's not when you really think about it.
Yeah, the thing that's crazy about the Dallas one is it's two-sided. Yeah, and it's right. I mean, so it's
right in the middle.
It's not on the end. I mean, it's like right. You're watching the field, and it's like, oh, there's the screen. Yeah.
Good morning, Brady from Cabo.
Yeah.
Cabo? What are you doing on your phone? Cabo. If I was in Cabo, I'd be senoritas and margaritas.
Oh, no, not you.
No margaritas. Virgin margaritas.
All righty. Well, you want to get us out of here?
Let's do it. On this day, what is it, August 29th, 708. So 708 was the year. Copper coins are minted in Japan for the first time. August 10th, 708 was the traditional Japanese date. 1885, Gottlieb Daimler receives the German patent for a motorcycle. 1885. 1898, the Goodyear Tire Company is founded. Now we'll jump all the way to 1997. Netflix is founded by Mark Randolph and Reed Hastings in Scotts Valley, California, as an online DVD rental business.
97?
Yeah, the year I graduated high school. 2012, the USDA claims to have stripped Lance Armstrong of all 7 of his Tour de France titles for doping. Wow. 2012. 2020, Elon Musk unveils pig named Gertrude with coin-sized computer in her brain. Part of his Neuralink startup creating a brain-to-machine interface. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
They could do that to us.
It is.
That's scary, man. Like, you just wake up with a computer chip in your brain. Golly. The number 1 song in America on August 29, 1973.
73.
Brother Louie by the Stories. I don't even know the song.
I was going to say, I don't think I know that song.
And then I got 2 quotes of the day because I had fun taking pictures. So I did a photograph quote for today.
Okay.
It's this one. When your heart jumps every time your camera locks focus, you've become a photographer. And then the quote of the day is this one right here. When all has been said and done, before the beginning we are nothing, and in the end we are nothing. It is what we do in between that counts. One more time. When all has been said and done, before the beginning we are nothing, and in the end we are nothing. It is what we do in between that counts.
Yep.
That's all I got for them.
Good deal. It's
Yeah,
kind of
August 29th. Last show of August. We're already moving into September.
Wow.
School's starting.
I know it.
The kids, my kids don't go back till next week, middle of next week, but LeGrand, I think they're back.
Yeah, no, I think I saw a post where
The freshmen
were already there.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Football's starting for LeGrand. Volleyball's going. I mean,
well, and this weekend is Labor Day. That's what's also weird.
That's why my kids don't go back to the
because a lot of schools they figure like, well, we're going to start after Labor Day or before.
I thought when I was a kid we always started after Labor Day.
We did. Well, I mean, I don't know if you did, but
did,
I mean,
I
think it was really common. But that's always the way when they figure out because students have to be in class a certain number of days, and the teachers have, I mean, all of that it's just math. They figure it out, and so, anyhow. All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Eastern Oregon, for tuning in.
See you Thursday.
Yep, right here.